A 73-year-old gentleman's wise retirement. No dependence on children, no nursing home, and a happy life on just $200 a month. When you reach the later chapters of your life, what's the biggest fear? Is it the loneliness that creeps in at night? The aches and illnesses that seem to appear without warning? Or the worry of becoming a burden on your children? For me, a 73-year-old widower, I've learned something important from my own journey. A happy old age can be much simpler than most people think. I spend only about $200 a month. I don't rely on my daughter. I don't live in a senior care facility, and yet I live more comfortably and contentedly than many people my age. Every day I have someone to talk to, someone to share a meal with. If I fall ill, there's a person who will drive me to the doctor. My home feels warm, lively, almost as if I've gained a second family. And no, I didn't buy this kind of happiness. It came about through an accident, a bit of fate, and meeting the right person at the right time. But I have to say, this way of living can't be bought, even if you have the money. It depends on fate and, more importantly, on finding good people. I was born in the early 1950s. My monthly pension is $530, not a fortune, but in my small Midwestern town, it's more than enough for one person to live decently, eat well, and even enjoy some small pleasures. I have only one daughter. She's my pride and joy, bright, sensible, and responsible. From grade school through college, she never once gave us trouble. My late wife and I had just one little disappointment. We'd always hoped she might marry a local fellow, someone from around here, so she could live nearby and visit often. But she had bigger dreams. After college, she moved all the way to California, San Diego, to be exact, saying she wanted to see the world and make her mark. She found a good job there, met a good man, and they bought a home together. But now, she only comes back for a few days around Christmas. It wasn't a huge problem when my wife was alive. Between the two of us, we had over $1,000 a month in pensions, our own home, and a circle of friends. Life was simple and good. But 8 years ago, my wife passed away suddenly from a stroke. My daughter, bless her heart, wanted to quit her job and come take care of me. I told her absolutely not. I said, "Your mother would want you to live your life. As long as I can still walk to the kitchen and make a sandwich, I'll be fine." Still, the days got long. Daytime wasn't too bad. I'd meet a few old friends at the park for Tai Chi, chess, or a few rounds of cards. Sometimes I'd join the local community center for dancing or sing-alongs. But in the evenings, when everyone went home, the silence would press in. You open the front door, and the house is so quiet you can hear the clock ticking. The kitchen is cold, the stove unused. Sometimes I couldn't even muster the energy to boil water for noodles. I'd sit in front of the TV, flipping through channels, not really watching, just wanting to fill the air with sound so the house didn't feel so empty. And when I got sick, well, that's when it really hit me. One winter, I caught the flu. My fever spiked in the middle of the night, my muscles ached, and I couldn't even reach the medicine cabinet without staggering. The phone was right by the bed, but I didn't want to call my daughter. What could she do from 2,000 miles away? The hardest times were holidays. Neighbors' homes filled with laughter and family, while I sat at my kitchen table, talking to my late wife's picture. I learned to fill the silence however I could, chatting with the produce guy at the grocery store, striking up a conversation with a stranger on the bus. Sometimes all you need is for someone to ask, "Have you eaten yet?" Just to feel seen. My daughter would fly me to San Diego every year for a couple of months, but I never felt settled there. In her high-rise apartment, no one knew their neighbors. The nearest grocery store was half a mile away, and I hated the elevator. Once it got stuck between floors for 3 minutes, and I nearly had a heart attack. So, every time, I'd beg to come back home early. Then came the accident that changed everything. It was a cold night in January 2 years ago. I slipped on the bathroom tile and landed hard on my left hip. Pain shot through me like a hot poker. I tried to grab the sink to pull myself up, but my fingers kept sliding on the tile. Sweat dripped into my eyes as I inched toward the medicine cabinet, every movement sending a fresh wave of pain through my bones. And that's when the most terrifying thought hit me. If I died here, no one would find me for days. The next morning, I hobbled half a kilometer to the nearest clinic, stopping 6 times to catch my breath. The doctor confirmed a fracture and told me I needed 2 months of rest. My daughter rushed in from California, insisted on hiring a home aide. That did not work out. The woman oversalted everything, banged pots and pans like she was in a marching band, and, worst of all, sold my old family photos for scrap paper. $700 a month for that kind of care? No thank you. After that, I understood something. Living alone in old age isn't just about loneliness. It's about safety. When the water heater leaks, you have to squint through your bifocals at a confusing instruction manual. When a light bulb burns out, you're wobbling on a chair with no one to steady you. When you wake up at 2 a.m. with chest pain, you're fumbling to wrap a blood pressure cuff around your arm with shaking hands. I realized there will be times when you must have another person nearby. And then one summer day last year, fate stepped in. I was trying to get an old photo album from the top shelf when I lost my balance again. My phone was in the bedroom. I yelled until my voice cracked, but no one came. Hours passed. My vision blurred. And then footsteps. A knock at the door. It was Joe, my water delivery guy. Joe was in his 30s, from a rural town, married with a young son. I'd known him for years. Every time he dropped off water, I'd invite him to sit down, have a glass of iced tea, maybe a sandwich. Just simple kindness. That kindness saved my life. He heard something was wrong, called 911, and stayed with me until the paramedics came. After my hospital stay, I tried to give him $700 as thanks. He refused, wouldn't even take it when I pushed. He only accepted some groceries for his family. Over the next few months, Joe and I became close friends. He'd stop by for 10 minutes whenever his delivery route passed my street. I'd give his boy Ming little snacks my daughter sent me. Sometimes they'd come over for dinner. Then, last September, Joe's landlord raised the rent on his small apartment to $300 a month. He was looking for something cheaper, but the only places in his price range were far from his son's school. That's when I had an idea. I live in a 3-bedroom house. My daughter comes home twice a year. Why not invite Joe's family to live with me? No rent, just help with meals and share the utility bills. At first, Joe was stunned. But after thinking about his son's schooling and the savings, he agreed. The day they moved in, the house came alive again. His wife scrubbed the place spotless, organized my old newspapers, and filled the kitchen with the smell of home cooking. Ming called me Grandpa Lee from day one. At first, I wasn't used to the noise. The clatter of breakfast at 5:30 a.m., the sound of a kid rushing to school. But soon, these became the most comforting sounds in my life. Joe's wife cooks with my health in mind, soft vegetables, low salt, hearty soups. She knows I like red braised pork, so she makes it once a week, tender enough to melt in my mouth. They treat me like family. At dinner, they always make sure I get the best part of the dish. Joe keeps me company in the evenings, telling me about his day, helping an elderly neighbor change a light bulb, delivering apples from another customer. Ming loves to play chess with me, though he cheats when he's losing, just like I did as a boy. On weekends, we sometimes talk for hours about the old days. This past year, they've been with me through doctor visits, colds, and stormy nights. Joe's wife brews ginger tea when I'm sick. Ming makes get-well cards. Living with them has cut my expenses by 2/3. I spend only about $200 a month now. But more importantly, I have light in my home, warmth in my kitchen, and voices in my living room. When my daughter visited this summer and saw Joe's family caring for me, she whispered, "Dad, you're living better than I am." I smiled.
I knew she was right.
My advice to other seniors who want to try this mutual living arrangement. 1. Choose people of good character. Take time to know them first. I knew Joe for 2 years before making the offer. 2. Set clear rules up front. Share utilities, split chores, respect habits. Put it in writing. 3. Keep finances transparent. We track expenses and review them together monthly. 4. Tell your family. My daughter met Joe's family and stays in touch through video calls. In the end, this is what we truly need in old age. A warm home, Someone who cares if you've eaten. Someone who'll notice if you don't wake up on time. Not all family is blood. Sometimes, fate sends you the people you need. As the old saying goes, a home full of kindness will never be short of blessings. My blessing started with a simple glass of iced tea years ago. And maybe, just maybe, that's all it really takes.